Ah, yeah, the open road. A few friends, some chocobos to ride, some gourmet dinners to prep, using Coleman camping gear, trademark Coleman. Everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. You know what? I feel like there's a lot of energy behind Final Fantasy right now. I don't know what it is. There's no big game announcements on the horizon that we're aware of, but you know what? Like Xbox has added a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff to their Game Pass, and it just seems like people are talking about FF a little bit more than usual. So I thought I'd do a revisited video here to the latest main entry Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 15. Don't know if you played it. Don't know if you didn't play it. I played it when it came out, and in fact, I reviewed it here on Jeff Bowles Central. That was many, many moons ago. How many years ago was that? 3 or 4 years ago. And at the time, I didn't really like it very much. I said it was a good effort. I said it had some cool ideas. I said in a lot of ways it advanced the franchise into kind of the newer generation. But there was a lot of bummers about it, and maybe I figured maybe my opinions have changed. Maybe the way I experienced the game was wrong at the time. You never know. Plus, I just felt like playing it again. So, Final Fantasy 15. Do I feel any differently about this game? Do I still feel it kind of sucks? Now, I don't want to say sucks in the sense of like complete waste of time. Final Fantasy, weird offshoot 10-2. But it's not up to par with the main of the series. Even something like Final Fantasy XIV is just miles above it. Like, it's a totally different experience, granted. But this is not my favorite Final Fantasy game. And let's talk about first what I like about it. I like the fact that we've gotten rid of the turn-based stuff successfully, really, to my mind, for the first time. I know a lot of Final Fantasy players really do love the turn-based stuff, and it does harken back to an older time, a more civilized time in gaming. But you know what? Even when I was playing Final Fantasy back in the day, I didn't like the turn-based. I didn't like the random battle encounters. Say what you will about Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or 9. Those are all excellent, world-class, all-time great games, but you cannot tell me that, blow for blow, real-time action where I feel like I'm doing it is not superior to turn-based. You can't tell me that in the modern game era of gaming. And honestly, I feel like franchises that have been around for 20, 30 years need to evolve with the times. So to my mind, combat is moderately successful in that sense in Final Fantasy 15. The only thing about it is it's not really finessed enough. Like, it doesn't really give me enough to do. A recent example of a Square game that gave me so much to do in combat would be the latest Kingdom Hearts game. This thing, it's all samey after a while. It's not very different. It's nice to have full control, but gosh, I wish there was just more going on. There's other things that are great about it. The open world is huge. There's a lot to see. It too is kind of samey, especially once you start taking out like empire bases and stuff like that. It's all concrete structures and forests and stuff. Monster hunting is fantastic. Look at this dude here. This guy is great. And chocobo riding. Oh my god, I love chocobo riding. And that kind of brings me to one thing. Why the car? Why the car? Okay, here's why the car. They wanted to, and this is interesting for a Japanese developer. I mean, the Japanese are noted for their appreciation of American culture, and that's, totally documented. That's not me saying that. And they wanted to clearly evoke the classic era of American driving, Route 66, You know what I mean? Like hopping in the car, going on a road trip. This is a distinctly perceived as, I won't say it absolutely is in reality, perceived as an American thing, jumping in the car and going on the trip with the friends and stopping at gas stations and stopping to snap photos. And truly, Noctis's friends here, the relationships between these four guys really is the saving grace of the game, because they spent so much time making these relationships effective, reinforcing the relationships, whether you're camping with your official Coleman camping gear, making dishes with your official Coleman plates, or eating cup of noodles, trademark. The banter between them is always pretty winning. The diversions aren't as diversionary as I was worried about. I thought it'd get old every time Ignis wants me to stop and or is it Prompto, take a photo with him or whatever. It never really does, like, because the whole way through, except for towards the end where it's like they completely abandon the open world more or less, to kind of funnel you down, channeled, narrow passages and stuff. The relationships between the guys and the road trip itself is the saving grace of the game, and it almost feels grand enough, but damn, that car? Woof. This one's a rough one, man. Because you can't drive it. You're not actually in charge of driving the car. Even when it tells you you're going to drive the car, you're never really driving the car. Do you know what I mean? It's like pressing gas, pressing the right trigger, or whatever you're playing on, and the driving does itself for you. And most of the time you have your caddy friend doing the driving. But there are just long stretches of game where you're looking at the scenery, which is moderately beautiful, admittedly. You're looking at the scenery thinking, gosh, I wish I could actually drive this car. They made the Chocobos perfectly, fully drivable. Don't get it. Don't get that particular aspect of it. It's not the greatest Final Fantasy game. I don't think FF15 is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. I think of the modern generation, that is ultimately going to go to Final Fantasy XIV, because wow, that game really is a world-class MMO Final Fantasy game. But that being said, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought it was. Back then I gave it a 7, now I'd maybe give it an 8. It's not much of a bump, but I had a better time with it this time. Maybe because I didn't have such high expectations. I'm a long-time Final Fantasy player. So that's what I gotta say about Final Fantasy 17, 15, 16, 14, 13, 12, and 20. Hey everybody, do me a favor. This is my latest novel, God's Body. It's about giant beings falling to Earth and beating each other to death, and the fallout that happens globally. There's a lot of peril, horror, danger, comedy, writing, words. There's words in it. There's letters in it, sometimes spaces, punctuation. All of that's in there. What kind of book has punctuation? You've never seen anything like it. Amazon.com. I'm done. That was a long video. Need a nap.